SDA Society down at DMU, and we just wanted to touch on a little recap on what we covered for those of you who couldn't make it tonight. We're just in Matthew chapter 28 and verses 16 to 18. We understand that Jesus has already come and he's worked his miracles. He's done some amazing things in front of the disciples. He's called the disciples, he's had his last supper, he's been betrayed, he's been killed and dies on the cross, he's been placed in the tomb, he's come back again, he's let the disciples touch the scars in his hands and say, listen, it's me, I'm back, I'm alive. And now we get to a point in Matthew chapter 28 verse 16 to 18 where the Bible simply says that the disciples come to the mountain which Jesus had appointed for them, and they've come there and they worship him, but the Bible says that some of them doubted. And when I look at the story, I'm a bit confused because I can't understand how these are the same disciples that have just touched the scars in Jesus' hand to see that he's died and come back to life. These are the same disciples that have just watched Jesus walk on water towards them, you know, and called Peter out to come and walk on the water as well. These are the same disciples that have seen him speak in the midst of a storm and all of a sudden everything goes quiet. These are the same disciples that have seen Jesus mix spit and clay together and let a blind man see. Same disciples that seen him touch the ears of a deaf man and he hears, you know. The same disciples that, you know, time and time again they've seen Jesus just call people back from the deaf. But these same disciples that have seen all these miraculous acts happen, the Bible says that the disciples start to doubt. And as I look at it, at first I become a little bit judgmental and I say, how is it that they're able to do it? But when I look at my life, I see time and time again how Christ has brought me through. Time and time again how God has demonstrated his power and done big things. Yet I buck up on a little situation, I come to a little bit of a problem, and just like the disciples, I start to doubt as well. You know, I shared a little story with them earlier on about when I was in school. I remember I prayed on my paper after GCSE exams and I was there and I was, you know, asking to change up the answers and all these things. And I remember when results day came, I was on the bus going down to school and I got to a point where I was so nervous. I'm fretting for my results that I prayed and I asked God, listen, please, I'm not even going to be selfish with you. I'm not going to be too demanding. All I want you to do, Lord, is give me a B. I'm not even going to answer the A. Lord, just give me a B and I'll be happy, you know. I remember when the results came and I opened up the paper and I saw the B on the sheet, I was so vexed. I was like, Lord, if I knew he was going to give me the B, I would have asked for the A. And the simple thing, I missed out on my A. Why? Because I doubted what God was able to do. Had to go and retake it the next year to get my A. And time again, I find myself in situations where I start to doubt and feel discouraged. But I'm so glad that when you read on in the text, Christ turns to them, understands that there's doubting ones among them, and simply said, listen, all power is given unto me in heaven and on earth. And I'm encouraged to know that, listen, there's nothing and nobody that's more powerful than God. And one of the ways that we can tap into that power is through prayer. My life is full of examples. We don't have time to go through them now, but time and time again, I've seen what God can do when we turn to him in prayer. I've seen the doors that he can open up. When people turned to me and said that things are impossible. When people laughed at certain ideas that I had. When I said I wanted to go to Jamaica to do mission trips. When I said I was going to go to New Orleans to do trips. When I said I was going to launch a campus ministry. People said it couldn't be done. People wanted to throw up the money obstacles. People wanted to throw up things that you're just this age. Or, you know, you're from Hackney, you can't do certain things. But time and time again, when we put people aside and we tap into that power through prayer, God is able to open up doors. Simple text in Matthew chapter 21 and verse 22 simply says, and whatever things we ask for in prayer, believing we shall receive. When you read in Matthew 7:7 to 8, it simply says, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. If we want to receive power, if we want doors to be open, if we want to be successful and move forward in life, we need to understand that we serve a God who all power is given unto him. He's willing to bless us, willing to provide, willing to maintain, willing to open up doors, but we need to trust in the power that's available through him.